The Rocky Mountaineer is a luxury train journey through the Canadian Rockies. In this video, we're going to talk all things Rocky, so please check it out. Hello, this is Ron, your personal travel manager. With me today is Mark from Rocky Mountaineer, and he's going to tell us all about this great product. How are you doing today, Mark?
Fantastic. Nice to be here, Ron.
Thank you very much for coming. So maybe just to get us started, would you just give us a little bit of an idea of Rocky Mountaineer?
Well, Ron, Rocky Mountaineer is a unique luxury train experience. Unique because it's the only luxury train in the world you don't actually sleep on overnight. You stop and go into comfortable hotels and then get back on the train the next day. Then there's the whole luxury experience of the food on board. It's all local produce. If you're having the beef, it's from Alberta. If you're having the salmon, it's from British Columbia. If you're having the wine, it's from the Okanagan Valley. The beer comes from a craft brewery in Whistler. So it's the experience of the food on board. And then we've also got our hosts. Fantastic service, give you commentary as you're going along, and of course the experience of travelling through some of the most beautiful scenery in the world, including the Canadian Rockies.
Magic. Well, I've actually got quite a few questions for you today, so if that's all right, can we start firing through those?
Absolutely, no worries.
Perfect. So, Mark, could you give us a bit of an idea of the different levels of service on the train?
No problem. On the train you have two different classes of service. We have the Silverleaf service and the Goldleaf service. The Silverleaf is a beautiful single level carriage, lovely big panoramic windows, small dome windows up in the roof, and that allows you to look up into the Rocky Mountains, and you'll have your breakfast and lunch served at your seat. You have a culinary team member that comes through and plates your breakfast for you and plates your lunch. And then you also have two hosts in each Silverleaf carriage that serve you complimentary drinks and give you commentary as you're going along as well.
Oh, perfect.
Then we also have the Goldleaf experience, and we find that most of our Kiwi guests are choosing the Goldleaf experience. This is a double-decker carriage. So you're up much higher for your viewing, nearly 2 meters higher than the Silverleaf, and you have these windows that curve all the way around above you that allow you to look straight up into the Canadian Rockies. Something I really enjoy about the Goldleaf is you get up out of your seat and come downstairs into the restaurant for your breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
So you can actually order from the menu in the Goldleaf. You can eat as much or as little as you like. You can have a nice wine or beer with your lunch. And it really breaks up the journey coming down into the restaurant for that breakfast and lunch. But it's the same in both classes of service. It is complimentary drinks. That's tea, coffee, soft drink and alcohol. Complimentary snacks in both classes of service, and breakfast and lunch on board the train.
So Mark, let's say that it's my turn to go to Rocky Mountaineer, and I'm about to start my journey. What's my first day going to look like?
So the first day on board the Rocky Mountaineer, let's talk about leaving from Vancouver, the Rocky Mountaineer station in Vancouver. So you'll be picked up from your hotel, transferred down to the Rocky Mountaineer station. Interesting though, your bags don't go with you on the train.
Okay.
They're actually left at the hotel. A truck comes and picks them up and delivers them to your destination. So they're in your room waiting for you that night.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's very seamless for the guests. They don't have to worry about their luggage at all. You just need to take what you need for the day with you, because you won't have access to your bags.
Right.
But at the station, the bagpipes play, they yell all aboard, you walk down the red carpet, you get on board the train, and as the train pulls out of the station, all the Rocky Mountaineer staff are there, waving goodbye to you.
Okay.
If you're in the Goldleaf class, the first thing you get on board is a freshly baked scone with some jam and cream, tea and coffee. This is even before your breakfast in the morning. So typical day, you'll go downstairs on the Goldleaf for your breakfast, where you can order as much or as little as you like. Very important, the bar opens after breakfast at 10 a.m. So if you'd like a drink, of course that's tea, coffee, soft drink, juice or an alcoholic beverage, that's all included complimentary on the train. The host will give you commentary as you're going along. You can ask questions. The drivers of the train are always looking out for wildlife. So if they spot any wildlife, they announce it through the earpieces into the host's ears, and then they will tell the train that the drivers have just seen a bear coming up on the left. Get your cameras ready for that. Before you know it, lunch has come around. Again, you'll go downstairs for lunch in the Gold Leaf, choose from the menu whatever you want. Nothing happens in a hurry. It's all very relaxed, take your time, get to know your fellow travellers as well. We talk about the socialisation on board, that's very important as part of the Rocky Mountaineer. Then there's more commentary in the afternoon, hopefully you've seen some of the wildlife, and then you'll arrive at your destination and you're transferred to your hotel where your bags are waiting. Very important, we only travel during the day. The reason we don't continue on and we don't have sleepers on board is we don't want our guests to miss any of that beautiful scenery. And if you continued on, you'd arrive at your destination the next morning. We are a daylight only experience.
So, from my own time traveling through the Rocky Mountains, I know that there's quite a few passes and quite a few different things to see as you go through. So what routes does the Rocky Mountaineer travel?
Yeah, very good question. There's actually 4 different Rocky Mountaineer journeys. 3 of those running between Vancouver up to the Rocky Mountains, and then we also link down to Seattle, what's called our Coastal Passage journey. The 3 ones heading up into the Rockies, they're the ones that we mainly sell from New Zealand, and there's 3 different journeys. First one's called the Rainforest to Gold Rush. And you can go in either direction. You can start in Jasper, finish in Vancouver, start in Vancouver, finish in Jasper. But this one runs up to Whistler. It's just a half-day journey up to Whistler. And our guests get a free afternoon in Whistler and then an overnight stay in a hotel.
Okay.
Then they continue up to an old gold mining town in British Columbia called Quesnel. A very small town. We just use 2 hotels in this town for our guests for another overnight stay. And there's some real diverse and different country that they travel through up through British Columbia to Quesnel. And then the 3rd day of the journey continues around to Jasper, finishing up in the Rocky Mountains. There's 2 other ways we can get from Vancouver up to the Rockies. We have one called Journey Through the Clouds and one called First Passage to the West.
Okay.
So they will leave Vancouver, for example, and spend the day travelling across to Kamloops, where you'll overnight stay. And then the Journey Through the Clouds, it continues up to Jasper. And we also have the First Passage to the West, and that will continue from Kamloops across to Lake Louise or Banff via what's known as the Kicking Horse Pass. So the Kicking Horse Pass is 2 spiral tunnels that allows the trains to do a lot of elevation in a short amount of time, and you virtually finish up in the Rocky Mountains and come down to Lake Louise or Banff.
Let's talk about some other examples of customization available on these trips.
Yeah, absolutely. We're able to customise anything before and after the train journeys. So if your clients, Ron, wanted to spend longer in Vancouver, you can customise a package to spend a week in Vancouver, 3 nights in Vancouver, whatever works for your clients. We can also customise day trips up to Whistler or across to Vancouver Island to visit Victoria as well. And then up in the Rocky Mountains, either before or after the train journeys, again we can customise the number of nights in Jasper, in Lake Louise, Banff and Calgary. But we can even take that one step further and customise the standard of hotel. Clients can stay in 3.5, 4-star hotels. They can stay in the beautiful 5-star Fairmont hotels, and really anything works for your clients before or after the train journeys on Rocky Mountaineer.
So if I have a client traveling in the Gold Leaf, but they wanted just a 3.5 standard hotel, we could do it that way?
Absolutely, no problem at all.
And Silverleaf, we could have the Fairmont.
Perfect, absolutely. You can go through and talk to people about what do you want in Calgary and customise it for them. Then you can go to Banff, Lake Louise, Jasper, Vancouver and customise anything in those destinations. What we can't change is the 1-night overnight stays as part of the train package.
You mentioned stopping in Jasper. Now, Jasper I know is well up in the Rocky Mountains. So is there some customization and some add-ons available to get people out of there?
Absolutely. When you finish, or if you're starting your rail journey in Jasper, we have packages that run down through the Rockies to Lake Louise, to Banff and to Calgary. And that can either be done by a coach tour, or we also have self-drive packages before and after the rail journeys.
Great.
So if clients want to customise to have a self-drive package through the Rockies, we can organise that. If they'd rather do a bus tour, the bus tour includes the sightseeing.
Okay, right.
So example, we have helicopter rides over the Rockies included in those packages. We have the gondola in Banff up to Sulphur Mountain, that will be included in those packages. Sightseeing of Yoho National Park, Jasper National Park, and also the Ice Explorer that takes you up onto the Athabasca Glacier as well. We can include all of that in the bus tour packages. The self-drive packages, we supply the car, the accommodation, and clients do their own sightseeing between Calgary and Jasper.
I guess a good question to ask would be, when's the best time for people to book?
Yeah, booking it, it's really important to book as early as you possibly can. The Rocky Mountaineer only operates from the end of April through to the start of October each year, and it does get very heavily booked out because it only runs for that short season.
Right.
Interesting, the Canadian government have made a law that you cannot build any more houses or hotels in any of the national parks.
That's right.
So Jasper, Lake Louise and Banff are all within national parks. So we are quite restricted on the number of hotels that are available in those three places. So our advice is book as early as you possibly can to make sure there is still accommodation available in those hotels, and of course still space available on board the Rocky Mountaineer.
So seeing as Canada's not overly close, when people head over for the holiday, they're not going to want to have just a Rocky Mountaineer, whether it's 7 days or 10 days. What do you usually find people do in addition to the Rocky Mountaineer?
Yeah, look, a big percentage of people will add on an Alaska cruise. So it's almost the perfect combination. You can see Canada, Western Canada, the interior, out to the Rocky Mountains, and then you're able to add on a cruise up to Alaska. They can be 7 days, 10 days, starting or finishing in Vancouver. So a good percentage of our guests will add on some sort of cruising up to Alaska as well. And if you've got 2 to 3 weeks, that seems to be about the average time where you can have your Rocky Mountaineer experience and add the cruise on as well.
Well, this has been absolutely great, Mark. Really appreciate having him here today and learning all about the Rocky Mountaineer. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
Look, my advice is to come and see you, Ron, to find the right package for people. It's so important to find the right product for the right people, and there's so much customization available with the Rocky Mountaineer. You can do a self-drive, a bus tour, or a cruise in combination. You can look at different standard hotels, the silver or the gold leaf on the train. So I would really advise people to come and see Ron and find the right package for you.